I was just about to sit down and record a video about Black Ops 6 Season 2 being painfully mid, but Treyarch just pushed an update that seems to have fixed a lot of these different issues, especially some of the big ones that were happening in multiplayer. And in this video, we're going to go over the most recent changes, and I'm going to share my thoughts on Season 2 overall with you guys because, dude, I've been making videos on Season 2, I've been streaming the game, I've been playing it off stream, I've been grinding it, and I've still come to the conclusion that Black Ops 6 Season 2 is just really, really mid. And that's not something that I really say all that often. I'm not saying that the season is bad, but I'm also not saying that this season is insanely good. It is so painfully average. And I'm pretty sure you guys can relate to this because, at least for me personally, I feel like I've been sitting around waiting for about a month or so for this game to get some really juicy, exciting new content. And instead, everything that Treyarch has put in the game so far has just fallen flat. And I think this is why people have also been saying like, oh, it doesn't feel like the game has really changed too much. The game feels the same before Season 2 even came out. But what makes matters even worse is that they also, behind the scenes, broke a lot of different things in the game. So I'm gonna go through the things that I've found and share with you guys, and we can also go over the most recent patch notes for the things that Treyarch did potentially fix and improve. It is so tempting to just sit here and crash out and rage and scream, but instead I'm gonna try to hold my breath and just share some constructive, positive feedback that will hopefully make this game better. So if you guys do enjoy this video, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, and let's get into it. The biggest change that happened in Season 2, which had a lot of us crashing out, and it was just very frustrating to deal with, is the fact that you couldn't even play with your friends. It doesn't matter if you get the most recent playlist update or the most recent patch or whatever, or if you even restart your game or, you know, restart your entire console or PC. People just could not party up consistently and play with each other. This was already happening when I was trying to play with my wife and Matt and John, and instead we just quit Black Ops 6 and we went to play Marvel Rivals instead. And last night when I was streaming Black Ops 6, I love to do these streams where I'm playing multiplayer with Twitch subs, but unfortunately it was an absolute disaster because of this issue. Well, if we look at the most recent Season 2 patch notes for BO6, the very first global change that they made is join on friends. It says they addressed an issue that prevented players from joining their friends party due to an error that stated they were on a different version. So this is obviously gonna have to be tested, but if this is fixed, that's a massive W, and I'm really glad that they got this fixed before the weekends, because a lot of people are gonna have the most amount of time to grind this new season on the weekends, and if they can't play with their friends or family, it's gonna be extremely frustrating, which it has been for the last half week or so. They also fixed an issue with split screen. It says address an issue that immediately kicked player 2 in attempting to enable split screen, which just sounds extremely frustrating. I'm not too sure how many people are still playing split screen, but they might have fixed it for you guys if this is an issue you were experiencing. Now, I'm not even sure how to open up this can of worms, but obviously, as you guys might know, with Season 2, they added the ability to turn off crossplay for ranked play. Now, I can't really show the settings on PC, unfortunately, because we don't really have access to crossplay settings on PC, which is very frustrating. But Treyarch is saying at the start of Season 2, we implemented new crossplay options for ranked play that allows players on console to select their platform pools they wish to matchmake with. We've been keeping a close eye on the conversation surrounding this topic and wanted to share some additional details on how these settings interact with party members who are on different platforms. So with the most recent changes, it says that players in a party who all belong to the same console platform will matchmake with the party leader's preferred crossplay settings. So even if you have different crossplay settings, it doesn't matter. Whoever the host is, they're going to get the priority. Players who have selected crossplay off and create a mixed platform party that includes a different console platform will have their crossplay settings temporarily adjusted to crossplay on consoles only to enable matchmaking. This temporary adjustment enables matchmaking for the duration of the mixed party platform, and disbanding this party will result in preferred matchmaking settings being restored. It also says that players who have selected crossplay off and create a mixed platform party with a PC player will have their crossplay settings temporarily adjusted to crossplay on. This enables matchmaking for the duration of the mixed platform party, and disbanding this party will result in preferred matchmaking settings being restored. And then lastly, it says, as a reminder, adjusting crossplay settings may negatively impact matchmaking queue times, which is very true. And basically what I think this change was meant to do is keep people from maybe exploiting the crossplay settings by trying to turn things off, but then still queuing with someone on a different platform or on PC. But as a quick heads up, after releasing these patch notes, the COD Updates Twitter account had said, we are investigating an issue where crossplay on consoles only and crossplay off settings are being reset when relaunching Call of Duty, which I just... What's really strange about all of this is that I don't even know if this only affects ranked play or if it also affects regular multiplayer, but I feel like these settings being changed either automatically or manually by the players is potentially what was also causing this join on friends issue where you just can't join people because it says they're on a different version. A lot of people have been trying to fix and mess with their crossplay settings, and it just seems like a lot of people can't even get it right. So yeah, I don't know if we're supposed to be pointing fingers at each other or if we're supposed to be getting mad at Treyarch for adding this setting and changing things automatically. It's a mess. It's a mess. Wait, they just added this this known issue too. This is literally what they just tweeted about the issue of your settings being reset when relaunching the game. So basically every single time you launch Black Ops 6, you're gonna have to check your crossplay settings if you're on console and if you have the ability to access these settings in the first place, which is just crazy. For UI changes, it says they addressed an issue where prestige challenges were not populating the nearest to completion list on the challenge tracker, addressed an issue where some players would see the prestige master splash in the after action report after every match, which was very frustrating, and they said they fixed it with season 2, but then they didn't. But then right now they're saying that they fixed it. We'll see if that holds up. Addressed an issue that prevented tiers from being displayed on the challenge tracker. Addressed an issue pinned challenges on the challenge tracker were not displaying correctly. Addressed an issue where XP earned and Black Cell XP bonus were flipped in the after action report. This was super confusing. Basically, it would show a tiny sliver of XP for you playing the match, but then the Black Cell XP boost looked huge. That was actually just a UI bug, and it's supposed to be flipped. And then lastly, they say address an issue where the challenge tracker would not automatically cycle to the next page after 8 seconds. Now, I'm not sure if Treyarch fixed this because I haven't seen it in the patch notes, and this was all the stuff that changed for the UI, but they also broke reticles with this most recent update. If you go to check your reticles, you can't see the names of any of the reticles, how many kills you need to get to unlock them, and you can't even see a preview image of the reticles. I believe this is because behind the scenes, Treyarch has actually made some different tweaks to the UI. Visually, it does look a little bit more interesting, and they kind of cleaned some things up and made it look more smooth, but on the back end, it looks like they also broke some things. And this isn't the only thing that I've noticed personally, but Treyarch, you guys should probably fix the reticles because no one could track any of this stuff and it just doesn't work right now. But yeah, this is a little UI issue that I think they're gonna have to eventually tackle as well. But I want to show you guys a really weird one that I noticed in private match. Now, I'm not exactly sure how or why this happens, but if you go to a private match on Black Ops 6 and you go to game setup, you'll notice that if you cycle through the game modes, we have team deathmatch, domination, search, all that stuff. But as you keep scrolling, there are duplicates of team deathmatch, domination, kill confirms, and hardpoint. And if you pick any of these and then you go to change the map, this is what you get. What is this, Treyarch? It just says 0 maps. You can't actually pick anything. And if you go to start the game, you will just load up its vault. I've already tested this and tried this, so it's not anything super broken. But again, this is just a weird recurring theme for season 2. They added a lot of content. They made a lot of really good quality of life upgrades and changes. But then behind the scenes, a lot of things also kind of broke. And I don't know why we have these duplicate game modes where you can't even choose the maps, but I just wanted to point that out as well. They might want to look into this because I have no idea what this is supposed to be. And the whole reason I came across this is because they did put gun game into private match, which is pretty sick. We can go to private match, we can go ahead and check out gun game, which I have done. I do have a little bit of beef with gun game right now, but I want to point something out before we do that. As you can see here for the game rules, we do have some settings that we can tweak for gun game. It's pretty typical stuff. You can change the amount of setbacks, the death streak to setback, as well as kills per weapon, which is really funny for gun game torture. I'm gonna have to get an open lobby going with those kinds of rules at some point, but Treyarch, if you're seeing this, you guys have a legendary opportunity to allow us to save custom game mode recipes like we've seen in past Call of Duty games. It feels like it's been over a decade since we've been able to save custom recipes of these modes. Like, for example, if I wanted to make a custom recipe where people get set back 5 weapons and they need to get like 3 kills per weapon, and then I could also put headshots only on as well to make it really difficult, that's all fine and dandy. However, every time I want to go into a private match and host this, I have to change those settings every single time, which also wastes a lot of time. It would be great if we could save custom recipes of these custom game modes, so that way every time we go into private match, we could just choose that custom recipe and quickly load things up and get it going. And if you guys wanted to make that feature even better, which we've again seen in past Call of Duty games, if we could save custom loadouts and custom classes for these different game modes, so that way we could quickly load up and play some fun custom games like Mike Myers and stuff in private match, that would be super dope. But yeah, I'm gonna load up this private match of gun game on Babylon, and I'm gonna show you guys a really weird issue, which I hope is just happening in private match and it doesn't actually happen when they decide to publicly release gun game. I'm pretty sure next week. Okay, so as you can see, we got typical Babylon spawns right here. Just gonna have to get this kill on Gage. Hades is dead. And yeah, I will say, Treyarch did a pretty good job with the rotation in gun game. I actually really do like this progression. Start off with pistols, then you go through shotguns, SMGs. It's a really nice rotation. I'm digging it so far. But I do like that we have DLC weapons that can show up in the rotation. The guns are kind of randomized. The attachments are also randomized too sometimes. Not sometimes, every single time. Okay, we got the Siren and okay. Now we got a launcher. Now the launchers, this is where a lot of people I think are gonna get stuck. But here's my big issue. We are now on the knife. And in a lot of the recent gun games, you have to get the last kill with your combat axe or your throwing knife. Now, typically in gun game, once you're on the last weapon and we have the combat knife here, we can go around and knife people and demote them. But in Black Ops 6, it ends the game. Why? I should have to get the last kill with the combat axe or the tomahawk like it's been in recent games. Getting one knife kill is not difficult, and it kind of defeats the purpose of the progression system if we don't have tack knives or we can't knife people at the very beginning, because that's part of the fun of gun game, is trying to demote people and set them back. It's the reason why it's a fun party game. And ending the game with a single knife kill is not gonna have me dancing like this. I'm just gonna crash and die like the end of the emote. Which, speaking of emotes, can we talk about how disturbing this new emote is? I said in a previous video, if you guys broke 25,000 likes, I'd have to learn this dance. If you guys break 25,000 likes on this video, I will have to learn this, and I'm terrified. I don't believe that someone actually went into a studio, put on the suit to be able to record stuff like this, and then this is what they came back with. Like, this is not human. And I'm really curious to hear from you guys. Do you think that this is potentially an AI-generated emote? Because no one moves like this. Like, I just don't believe it. One of these days, Treyarch is gonna have to release a behind-the-scenes video of how they make these emotes, because this is just so wild, man. Also, I just left the emote screen and I can still hear the music. Is that supposed to happen? Did I just discover a new bug? This is literally Call of Duty Bug Ops 6, I swear. It's not gonna stop, is it? That's actually crazy. You know, the irony is that there is a weapon charm. I'm trying to find it right now. It was this one. This was from the Black Ops 6 beta. We had this weapon charm that shows the bugs with the cross out, alluding to the idea that Black Ops 6 is bug-free. How did that pan out? It literally says no bugs. Oh my god. I can't, man, I can't. I might have to turn off my music. This bug is not going away. Like, how do I make it stop? Maybe I have to go. Okay, I just had to go back to the screen and then it canceled it out. That's a weird one though, man. But yeah, if we go back to the patch notes, they say for weapons, they improved muzzle flash viability on all SMGs when aiming down sights. I'm kind of wondering if this change happened because of the PPSH. Like, maybe the PPSH just had really bad muzzle flash. Okay, well, it does have a suppressor, but I mean, that muzzle flash isn't looking too bad. I just took off the suppressor and I mean, you know, okay, well, it's definitely got some muzzle flash, but I mean, that's to be expected. I don't really have the muzzle flash recorded from beforehand, but hopefully it's gotten better. I know that for people who play on KBAM, this is probably a bit of a bigger issue because of the visibility. But while I have the PP in my hands, Treyarch, can we please buff the extended mag for this thing? It should really be 71 rounds. I've been seeing a lot of people on Twitter saying that the PPSH should get some kind of buff. And, you know, as far as it goes for recoil and damage and stuff like that, I feel like it's in a decent place, but I really just feel like the PP should have a higher capacity. If the drum mag for this thing had 71 rounds, not only would that just be more classic and cool, but it would also make the gun more viable and probably even better in zombies for sure. Because as far as it goes for the role that this SMG is supposed to fill, it directly competes with the PP919, and if I had to choose between the two, it's gonna be this one. It's just better in multiplayer and it holds more ammo in zombies. It's just more usable and useful, which really sucks because the PPSH-41 is a classic SMG. It's iconic and it's kind of being done dirty here. But going back to the patch notes, our last global change is for the operators, address an issue where Weaver's Knocked Raider skin would have an extra skull in the operator selection menu. I'm kind of sad about that. This was actually kind of a cool visual bug, and I can confirm, unfortunately, that the skin is back to normal, guys. Black Ops 6 is ruined. Now, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, this is what the skin looked like before they just released this patch. Now, as far as it goes for multiplayer specific challenges, for hardcore, they enabled spawn protection in hardcore modes, which is pretty interesting. I'm gonna have to play some more hardcore in the coming days to see exactly how good or bad this change is. For leaderboards, it says added a filter to multiplayer leaderboards to toggle between core and hardcore. They added this on the 29th, which, by the way, as far as it goes for stats and leaderboards in the UI, they also broke this with Season 2, which I don't know if they fixed this. I don't know if they fixed this with their most recent patch, but if you go to check your stats, if you go to your combat record, it says I've got 8 days and 1 hour played in multiplayer, which, by the way, this is also completely broken. You cannot see your like top loadout or top weapons for each prestige. I don't know how or why this broke, but if you click onto it, it will load your stats and you can eventually see your top weapons, but it just does not load when you're looking at the overall combat record. But again, keep in mind, I've got over 8 days played in BO6's multiplayer. Now, if I go to my leaderboards, it's a completely different story. The game's now saying that I have less than 4 days played. It cut the time in less than half. And if I go to zombies, it says that I have 1 day and 15 hours. And as far as I'm aware, there's no other way to check your time played in zombies other than the leaderboards. So I don't know what happened here. The leaderboards are broken though, and Treyarch's got to fix this too. And lastly, for challenges, it says address an issue that prevented the flowing low challenge from tracking progress. They fixed that on the 28th. Nothing too crazy there, just a little calling card challenge fix. But then they also made some changes to zombies as well. For the brand new 2 map, it says address an issue that would prevent players from interacting with the Sentinel artifact to start the final encounter. They just added that on the 29th. Address a crash that would occur when using a shock charge in the Dark Aether Nexus during the Wonder Weapon quest added on the 28th. Addressed an issue where dropping the upgraded Staff of Ice, then letting it respawn, could remove the upgrade. That's insane. Really glad that they fixed that one. Addressed an issue where zombies were not awarding full points during the final encounter. Yeah, that's really bad if you were trying to get enough points to keep buying ammo in the final encounter, which does happen quite a lot. You do run out of ammo. Addressed a rare issue where some zombies couldn't be damaged after the final step of the Wonder Weapon quest. That's insanity. I'm telling you, dude, the zombies, they don't like the skill-based matchmaking either. They're starting to download hacks and run God mode in zombies. Addressed an issue where a player wouldn't be teleported to the final encounter if they were interacting with one of the portals in the Dark Aether Nexus. Oh my God. Addressed an issue that allowed players to trigger score streaks during the blood sacrifice step of a side Easter egg. Oh my, that blood sacrifice shit is so difficult. I don't know what they were thinking with that, but looks like they patched the score streak cheese, so that can't be done anymore. I definitely didn't try that last night when we were doing the Easter egg. Addressed an issue where interacting with the amulet more than once would cause the sound effects and audio to play multiple times. And then lastly, addressed an issue where a Staff of Ice from the mystery box could not be interacted with if it was swapped out for one built during the Wonder Weapon quest. I'm seeing all these different changes for the tomb, but there is one specific issue that happened when I was streaming the Easter egg hunts live. During the Ice Staff upgrade quest, when you're trying to deal with the parasites and you have to put the little like orb into the statue, I had this really weird bug happen where the orb was stuck in my hands after failing that step, and I couldn't switch weapons, I couldn't reload, I couldn't use score streaks, I couldn't do anything. And it's stuck in my hand!
It's stuck in your hand.
This is so bugged! I am going to go insane, bro! I can't run! What do I do? I can't reload! The crash has Ravi. Oh my God, it's still here! I can't reload, I can't switch weapons, this dumb orb is stuck in my hand, I'm gonna die. I can't use my streak! It's over. It's over. That's the game. And ultimately, to fix the bug, I had to go downed, and then I had to use a self-revive in order for that to eventually go away, which is insane. I really do hope that they can fix that bug on the map. But they also do have a change for Terminus Directed mode. It says, address an issue where objective markers would not appear for some players when loading a save. So, nice little quality of life upgrade there. For leaderboards, they added a filter to zombies leaderboards to toggle between solo and squads. They did that on the 28th. For the UI, they corrected some typos, and they addressed an issue where setting a different HUD preset in zombies would prevent any further changes and cause low FPS in game. I did see some clips of this on Twitter, so it's nice that they fixed that as well. For graphics, they addressed some graphical issues that could occur when using the null blueprint for the AK-74. And then lastly, there's some stability changes. They addressed an issue that resulted in frequent stability issues on the tomb for players with AMD GPUs at launch, and there's also just various stability fixes. I did see a lot of this stuff on Twitter as well. And when I was streaming Black Ops 6 last night, I was noticing that I had some really bad performance issues as well. I have a 4090, and in general, if you have an NVIDIA GPU, you might want to check to see if you have the latest drivers, because I didn't even realize there was a driver update, and my game is feeling a little bit better after the most recent driver update. So if you're on PC, you could always give that a try as well. I was going through and checking some of my different graphic settings as well, and I decided to change my DLSS from balanced to performance, which obviously the game's not going to necessarily look as nice, but I've been getting way more frames by running on either performance or ultra performance. I did switch off of ultra performance though, even though this gives me the biggest FPS boost, because I did notice the game kind of looks like a little weird and blurry at times, so performance seems to be the way to go. But yeah, those are the latest patch notes and changes to Black Ops 6. I'm gonna queue us for some hardcore stakeout 24/7, because I feel like that's gonna be the best way to test to see if they really did add some kind of spawn protection into the game. But I do want to just kind of share my overall thoughts and opinions on Season 2 with you guys so far, at least for what we have. As far as goes for the new weapons that we have in Season 2, I personally feel like these are some of the most underwhelming weapons we've ever had in any Call of Duty season in a minute. The PPSH is supposed to be iconic, but ultimately this gun feels worse than a lot of the existing SMGs in the game. As far as goes for the Cypher 091, I feel like this is probably one of the better weapons that we've had so far, although I still feel like there's better ARs in the game. It's still just outclassed, and it doesn't really do anything different for the game, and especially for the LMGs. The Fang 82, this thing is straight dookie flakes. I don't even know what they were thinking. It looks like the Stoner 63. It's apparently the Ultimax from Battlefield, but this thing, I don't even know what to say. Like, I don't even know what they could do to make this thing better, except for maybe try to reduce the horizontal recoil on its recoil pattern, because this thing shoots so slow and it deals a decent amount of damage, but that recoil is crazy. And even with a full build, which by the way, I took this thing into zombies, got afterlife camo, and it's, I think, almost maxed out. No, wait, it is maxed out. This thing, even with a full build, I don't like it. It's not very good. And I already did an entire video on this, but the crossbow underbarrel attachment, I don't know what they were thinking with this thing. It even says F. I didn't even notice that, but the attachment has an F on it, because we need to press F to pay respects for the crossbow, because the underbarrel attachment version of it in BO6 is the most mid thing I've ever seen in my life. It is just painfully weak and useless, and I don't know what they were trying to accomplish with this attachment. Come on, where's that spawn protection? Where is it? Trying to test it. Oh, hold up. That's the play right there. I don't know if Stakeout's got spawn protection. I don't know. But like I said at the start of the video, I don't think that this season is terrible. I don't think it's the worst season of content we've ever seen or gotten in a COD game, but I also don't think that things have drastically gotten better or improved. It just kind of feels like we're getting more of the same, and the needle is barely moving. And what I really don't like is that I'm starting to get some flashbacks of being drip-fed content like we were in Modern Warfare 2. The roadmap looked huge. It looked like there was going to be so many different things. You know, they were going to have that perk, which would get rid of tag sprint, and your base sprint speed would be the tag sprint speed. I don't even know when we're getting that now. I thought Gun Game was gonna be at the launch of season 2, and then they decided to delay it a week. It's just that same typical live service nonsense where they have to drip feed us content because they need to space things out. And the only saving grace is just the fact that season 2 itself is not gonna be as long as season 1. I think it's only gonna be, what, 47 more days or something? Thankfully, we only have to deal with season 2 for about a month and a half. But I feel like that's a really bad sign. I shouldn't feel like I'm trying to get through the season and wait for the next one for things to get better. I think a lot of people, especially the Warzone guys, were really hoping to see some major improvements starting with this season. I'm mostly playing multiplayer and zombies. I'm just not really keeping up with the Warzone stuff. I know that season 3 they're going to be bringing back Verdansk, but I feel like there's so many other core issues and problems with Warzone that simply just bringing back a map, bringing back Verdansk, is not going to fix and save all those problems that the game has. Also, I just played an entire game of hardcore Stakeout and I didn't feel like there was any spawn protection, so I have no idea what that was about. I don't know if it affects certain game modes or if it's supposed to just protect you from explosives or something. They were so vague about that in the patch notes that we don't even know exactly what it did to the game, so I gotta take a breath. Again, I'm trying not to completely lose my mind, but I think I'm beyond that point anyway. I'm sitting here recording a video on Black Ops 6. I'm still playing the game basically every single day, so I think at this point it is safe to say that my mind is gone. But real quick, just to wrap up the video, I do want to talk about the maps for Season 2. I am not the biggest fan of these maps. Lifeline is decent. It's a tiny boat map, and you really can't go wrong with the face-off maps except for maybe Warhead. I hate Dealership. I don't know what the deal is with this map. I think I'm at the point now where I just genuinely despise Dealership. I feel like this is just a Warzone point of interest that has 3 lanes, and they were like, okay, let's make this a map. Bounty, however, does have some potential. It's a little weird, and there's some awkward areas where you have to kind of jump around, break through glass all the time. And it does have the zombies music Easter egg, which is pretty cool. And Dealership actually has one section where they're playing some pretty heavy metal music and stuff. That's kind of neat, but overall, this is just not the strongest map pool, and we are waiting on more maps. We are going to be getting that bullet train map later in the season, and grinds from Black Ops 2 will eventually be coming into the game. But for the launch of Season 2, I can't get all that excited about these maps, man, and I feel like they should have just launched the season with the best maps to give us something to be excited for and to look forward to. I don't look forward to seeing these maps in the rotation, but I do want to give Treyarch some props for this specifically. The Overdrive LTM, where you have to earn stars and you get this speed buff. It kind of feels like Cranked from past Call of Duty games, but it's a little bit different. I really do like this game mode, but unfortunately, this game mode has started to attract all the sweats, and it went from being an LTM that was just kind of fun and you could look forward to playing it to now you have to dread playing it because the sweats have taken over and infiltrated this mode. So my overall take on Black Ops 6, at least especially the multiplayer side of things right now, is that I want to like the game. I see the potential in the game, but at the same time, there's just not a lot to get excited about at the moment. The drip feeding of content and just adding things into the game that really do not feel all that great, especially the weapons. It's painfully frustrating because you see the potential in the game. You want to see it get better. But instead of it being really good content, it's so average. It's just right in the middle, and you want to see it get that boost. You want to see it get better, but it's I almost wish that Season 2 was actually just trash. I almost wish that it was a Modern Warfare 2 2022 season where it's just a terrible update that doesn't do anything at all and it's just bad. I would weirdly prefer to sit here and clown on a terrible season than watch it just be mid. I don't know. Again, I need to take a breath. I'm starting to get frustrated, but overall, I do want to see this game and this season improve. Thankfully, if we go to the battle pass, yeah, there's only 47 days left. So that's what I'm saying though. It's so frustrating to have that mindset, to have that mentality of oh man, we just got to get through the next 47 days and then season 3 is going to be the season to save the game, right? No, it's not going to happen. Right now, at this very moment, the game needs to start getting better. Season 2 is not really doing it. I think it's mid, and I don't think it's going to get better with another season of content because they could easily just give us more of the same. They could be adding more SMGs that just don't really do anything. They could be adding more ARs that aren't that good. Instead of bringing back the classic crossbow from Black Ops 1 or Black Ops 2, or maybe even the insane Akimbo Shadow Claws from Black Ops 3, instead of doing that, just add an underbarrel attachment crossbow that sucks dick. And sadly, that's just kind of the vibe of this video. I'm trying not to be too much of a downer. I do see the potential in the game and I do want it to get better, but unfortunately, unfortunately the season, it doesn't hit. This content is not hitting. And what makes it even more frustrating is that there were a lot of other new bugs and things that were messing up the game experience. Like, I was saying this to my buddies as well. I feel like at this point, I'd rather have the launch of Black Ops 6 than season 2 of Black Ops 6 right now. I do think that Treyarch has the potential to improve the game and make it better, and they already proved that by dropping this update today, which did fix some of those bugs. And I just wanted to make this video to try to shed some more light on some of my concerns and issues with the game. I do think that it can get better, and I do think that Treyarch can do it, but I really just hope that it doesn't take until season 3 to get the game into the state that it needs to be in. But with that being said, thank you guys very much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed watching me rant about Black Ops 6 some more. If you guys did enjoy this video and you want to see this game continue to improve and get better, make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new. I'll see you guys later.
Outcome. Train book.